Good day. Video games can feature stories with great characters and excellent lore. When they transition to movies, pretty much all of that is lost. But when you turn a video game into a book, most of that survives the transition. Back in 2004, I was at a random half-price books, and I just so happened to find Knee Deep in the Dead, the novel. I had never even heard of such a thing at the time. I took it home, cracked it open, and found one of the greatest video game stories of all time. Is it still good 20 years later? Well, let's crack it open and see if it is.
The Doom novel series spanned 4 books written by Daffy Dab Hugh and Brad Lineweaver. The first 2 books covered each Doom game, with the final 2 being original stories to complete the saga of the Doom Guy, known in novel continuity as Flynn Taggart. It takes talented writers to turn a rather plotless game such as Doom into a novel series of surprisingly high quality. The first thing they did was remove the demonic elements and turn them into sci-fi elements. The demons are now genetically engineered monsters that are used to conquer planets. This gives squishy humies a better chance at victory. The novels are told from the first-person perspective of Doom Guy, Doom Girl, and later the Doom Squad. Doom Guy is, as mentioned earlier, Flynn Taggart. He is a member of the U.S. Marines and is part of the fictional Light Drop Infantry, and the most gung-ho Marine this side of Sergeant Slaughter. His character is a little over the top where it needs to be, and realistic where it should be. And he comes off as a cool dude. He doesn't say rip and tear or give diatribes on nuclear safety, but he does have some thankfully weird lines here and there, and he does get to rip and tear with a bayonet, all the while hopped up on synthetic adrenaline. The writing for the novel is nothing short of excellent. The writers can actually describe a fight scene with efficient detail. They introduce a new character into the Doom canon, Arlene Sanders. She is Doom Girl. Unlike with today's works, she is the equal of Doom Guy and does not steal the show and instead works with him to balance his strengths and weaknesses. For a novel based upon shooting demons in the face, the writers included a lot of great character moments and a huge amount of backstory for Doom Guy and Girl. This makes the novel that much more enjoyable since both characters are likable and relatable. In Knee Deep in the Dead, Flynn Taggart is an actual character. He doesn't spend time quoting military regs, nor does he lift off his weapons. Awesomely enough, the Doom shotgun actually has a backstory and is found in a rather tear-jerking way. The goddamn Doom shotgun has character, ladies and gentlemen. Arlene and Fly act like real people, and while there is sexual tension, it never spills over into happy joy fun time, and thus is more satisfying for it. When Flynn finds a civilian, he does not treat said civilian like crap, and instead compliments him on many occasions. The plot for the novel matches the first game quite well. For those who didn't even know that Doom had a plot, here's how the plot went in the game. You are the Doom Marine. After assaulting a superior officer, you are exiled to the Martian moon of Phobos, where you have to act as security as a member of the Space Marines. On a day unlike any other, hell invades, and all of your compatriots are killed. So you have to be a bad enough dude to take on the forces of hell in 3, and later 4, exciting episodes! The novel goes into detail as to just why Flynn Taggart assaulted a superior officer. He punched his CO, Lieutenant Weems, in the face in an attempt to stop him from killing civilians. After this transpires, Fox Company, the company that Flynn Taggart is a part of, is then transferred from a country that might as well be Afghanistan, even though the novel predates that war by many years, to Mars. Why Flynn was not left on Earth is anyone's guess. Fox Company is sent to investigate strange events transpiring on the Martian moon of Phobos. In the novel, there is a base on Mars, but like in the game, the action takes place entirely on Phobos and Deimos. On Phobos, Flynn is left behind with 2 guards, while Fox Company investigates the main UAC base. As you would expect, Fox Company is attacked by zombies and imps! The novel gets around the obvious concept of just shooting the bastards in the face by making the Marines fly into a berserker rage at seeing the zombies. And since they're using their fists instead of their bloody guns, the Falzinos make short work of them. The reason this takes place is due to the fact that the Falzinos are using chemical warfare to make the humans not think. and thus they have a major advantage. Like in the Doom trailer, Taggart listens to all this go down on the radio, and eventually decides that he's a bad enough dude to take on the hordes of hell himself, knocks out his 2 guards, which are never seen again, and we never really know if they lived or died or not, but they're unimportant, and heads out to the main UAC base to see if he can save some of his squad, and hopefully, maybe, just maybe, find Arlene. The novel is actually a bit tension-filled at times. This is Flynn Taggart before he became the Doomslayer, so at first he is scared to go up against even one zombie, but over time he gets more and more badass. The novel implies that the reason why Taggart is able to overcome the initial berserker rage when he first sees that zombie is because he has burning will! The novel covers the absolute hell it would be to fight your own zombified comrades, and as the novel progresses, Taggart gets more and more unhinged. It takes a long time before Flynn even sees a sign of Arlene Sanders, and it's not until halfway in the novel that Taggart finally finds her, and she is an excellent addition to the Doom story. She gives Taggart someone to play off of, and she even gets some pretty emotional scenes as well. The major boss battles are handled well, and they're never won via a Deus Ex or just fought easily. Flynn Taggart and Arlene don't just shoot it until it dies. Instead, Taggart and Arlene have to devise actual plans to win, and thus the fights are actually entertaining. The novel even includes the rather odd part at the end of Shores of Hell, where Doom Guy repelled via rope into hell. In the book, Doom Guy and Girl take a ladder across a hyperspace tunnel to another part of Demonos. The novel features a great many horror elements throughout, and they're actually quite Lovecraftian at times. Doom Girl even gets into the ripping and tearing action, and she is the one who gets to fire up a chainsaw and find some pinkies to slice and dice. And it is thanks to this book that we even have the term pinky. In the original game, pinkies were just called demons. And the novel actually kind of mocks this, as real demons are way scarier. The novel's ending differs from the game. In the game, you fought the Spider Mastermind, and then returned to the green fields of Earth. Since the novel was released in 1995, by that time, Hell on Earth had already been released, and so this novel ties directly into that. And Arlene and Flynn see that Earth is being invaded by the foul Xenos. I get the feeling that the writers were trying to homage the old serials because it ends on a cliffhanger. The entire plot is actually completed, but, and this is a bum the size of a mancubus's, we don't get to see them return to Earth until the very next novel, and the entire series is like this. And while this does drum up hype for the very next novel, that doesn't work very well when you can't find it. When I first picked up Knee Deep in the Dead back in the early 2000s, it was 2 years before I found the next couple of books. And yeah, I know it has no bearing today, because not only have the books been reprinted multiple times, but you can get them all in e-form off of Amazon.com. I'm only complaining because, well, it was really annoying back then. It was a good book. I want to know what happened. Another surprising aspect of the Doom novel series is the sheer number of pop culture references. Some are more obscure than others, and some have actually been able to endure throughout the ages. The most notable reference in this novel is the reference to the 1950s Journey to the Center of the Earth film. Arlene is said to be a fan of old cinema, and in order to get Fly to follow her so that she hopefully can be found by him, she leaves the message AS, or Arlene Sanders. This references the AS scene in Journey to the Center of the Earth, where in that film it was Arne Sock Newsom, a explorer that initially goes into the center of the Earth, and the intrepid explorers in Journey to the Center of the Earth follow his markings so that they can potentially find the center of the Earth, even though they don't really go down deep enough, but it's cool nonetheless. The firearms and military references are realistic, even if they're not 100% accurate. Flynn Taggart gives his serial number, even though it's not an actual military serial number. Instead, he's giving his social security number, but whatever, only people like me might know the difference. The weapons are actually pretty interesting. They're generally handled pretty well, but one thing that's kind of funny is the use of 10mm. In the 1990s, the 10mm was the hot new caliber. In the early 2000s, when I read the books, 10mm was all but dead, and now 10mm's back with a vengeance, and everybody wants a 10mm pistol caliber carbine for some reason. What's really funny, though, is Flynn Taggart says that the standard issue rifle for the US Marines is the Sig Cal, a semi-auto pistol caliber carbine. Yeah, that's what finally dethrones the AR-15. A semi-auto 10mm pistol caliber carbine. I get the feeling that the Marine Corps sitcom is a big fan of the Delta Elite. The weapons never actually incur any facepalming, although there is one facepalm moment in Arlene Sanders' backstory that shows that the writers don't really know how the military works all that much. I'm surprised they get as much right as they do, but this one is a bit of, shall we say, a facepalmer. In short, Arlene, to prove her mettle, allows a Marine Corps sergeant to shoot an apple off of her head with a sniper rifle. This breaks so many safety regulations, I have literally facepalmed myself so hard that I almost knocked myself out. But this is the only real big problem in the novel, and once again, unless you're me, you're not going to really care, and it doesn't really take you out of the story. And since this is Doom, a little bit of over-the-top crap isn't too bad. Overall, this is an exceptional novel. I cannot stress just how good this book really is, especially when compared to other military science fiction novels. And really, ladies and gentlemen, what did you expect from Doom 1993? It's one of the greatest games of all time, so of course its novelization is going to be in keeping with that quality. And so, I am General Lotz, wishing you good Doom, Hell on Earth, and good Doom, Infernal Sky, or whatever makes you happy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and please consider leaving a like or a comment, as the algorithm desires your soul. And I want to thank all those fans who have supported this channel, both past and present.